The meeting room on Station Nexus was huge. Its walls were made of crystal that sparkled like diamonds. Its light from 3 different suns shone through the crystal, making rainbow colors dance across the floor. This was where the most important decisions in the galaxy were made. Ambassador Kim Dae-ho sat at the round table, looking calm. But inside he was angry. Very angry. For 3 months he had been coming to these meetings. For 3 months he had been asking for fair treatment. For humanity. And for 3 months, the aliens had been saying no. Next to him sat Lieutenant Park Bo-young. She was young, maybe 25 years old, but she was smart. She had been watching the aliens carefully during all these meetings. She knew they were. Planning something bad. Around the table sat the representatives of the 7 most powerful species in the galaxy. Each one looked different from the others. Each one thought they were better than humans. The Velinari looked like giant squids. Their leader, Counselor Riefdell, had blue skin and 8 long arms. She moved her arms like she was dancing when she talked. But her words were always cold and mean. The Kithara looked like huge insects. The representative Hivesinger Buscala had 4 arms and big black eyes. When she talked, her voice sounded like buzzing. She spoke for millions of bug-like creatures that lived in giant hives. The ethereals were made of gas and energy. They floated in the air like colorful clouds. The representative Whisperer changed colors when she felt different emotions. Now, she was dark purple, which meant she was feeling superior. The Rockborn looked like walking mountains. Stoneheart was their representative. He was made of gray rock and spoke in a voice like thunder. He moved very slowly, but when he spoke, everyone listened. The Sylvani looked like trees that could walk. They had green skin and leaves instead of hair. Their representative Rootwise rarely spoke, but when she did, her words were always about growing and expanding. The Lumina were beings made of pure light. Their representative Brightspark looked like a small star floating above the table. They spoke by flashing different colors of light. The synthetics were machines that had become alive. Their representative, Prime 7, looked like a metal human but with glowing blue eyes. They processed information faster than any living being. Today's meeting was supposed to be about trade routes. Humanity wanted fair access to the shipping lanes that connected different parts of the galaxy. Without these routes, human colonies would have trouble getting supplies. Kim Dae-ho had prepared his speech carefully. He stood up and spoke in a clear voice. Honored counselors, humanity has been part of the galactic community for 50 years. We have followed all the rules. We have paid all the fees. We've been good neighbors. Now we ask for equal treatment in trade. He activated a holographic display that showed human colonies scattered across space. Our people need these trade routes. Our colonies are growing. Our children need food and medicine. We can pay fair prices for fair access. Counselor Riefdell moved her tentacles in a dismissive wave. Ambassador Kim, your species is still very young. You've only been traveling in space for 100 years. The rest of us have been doing this for thousands of years. Her voice was sweet, but her words were like poison. We think it is too early to give humans full trade rights. Maybe in a few hundred years, when you have proven yourselves, we can talk again. Lieutenant Park Bo-young watched Kim Dae-ho's face. She saw a small muscle in his jaw twitch. She knew that sign. Her grandfather had the same expression when bullies tried to push him around. Hivesinger Busgala's voice buzzed through the air. The Cathara agreed with the Velinari. Humans have not contributed enough to galactic civilization. What great discoveries have you made? What technologies have you shared? What wisdom have you offered? She leaned forward, her black eyes reflecting the crystal walls. You ask for the same rights as species that have built wonders. But what wonders have humans built? The ethereal Whisperer changed to a bright yellow color, showing her amusement. Perhaps we could offer you some small mining rights. Some empty asteroids in the outer rim. Dead rocks with no life that might be suitable for your current level of development. Stoneheart's voice rumbled like an earthquake. The Rockborn have been mining asteroids for 3,000 years. We know which ones have value. The ones we would offer to humans have no value at all. Rootwise, the Sylvani representative spoke in a voice like wind through leaves. All species must grow slowly. A seed cannot become a tree overnight. Humans are still seeds. The lumina being, bright spark, flashed white and gold. We have analyzed human technology. It is primitive compared to ours. Your ships are slow, your weapons are weak, your computers are simple. Why should we treat you as equals when you are not equal? Prime 7, the synthetic processed data and spoke in a mechanical voice. Statistical analysis shows human colonies consume more resources than they produce. Your trade value is negative. Economically, you are a burden, not a benefit. Kim Daeho listened to each insult. His face stayed calm, but Lieutenant Park Bo-young could see his hands getting tighter on the table. She had read his file. Kim Daeho had been a soldier before he became a diplomat. He had fought in the Mars Colonial War. He had seen what humans could do when they were pushed too far. Counselor Reefdell continued her speech. We are not being cruel, Ambassador Kim. We are being realistic. Your species needs time to mature. Accept our offer of asteroid mining rights. Be grateful that we are willing to give you anything at all. The other aliens nodded in agreement. To them, this was settled. Humans would take what they were offered, or they would get nothing at all. But they had made one mistake. They thought that being reasonable meant being weak. They thought that asking politely meant begging. They had never learned the difference between choosing to be diplomatic and having no other choice. Kim Daeho stood up slowly. His movement was controlled and deliberate. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, but everyone heard every word. I see. Thank you for making your position clear, counselors. He turned to Lieutenant Park Bo-young. Pack our things, we are leaving. Park. Bo-young stood up immediately. She had been expecting this moment. Yes, sir? Kim Daeho looked around the table one last time. The aliens were watching him with what looked like amusement. They thought this was just drama. They thought humans would come crawling back in a few days. Counselors, this meeting is over. Do not expect us to return. As the two humans walked toward the door, Whispera changed to a bright pink color, showing her laughter. How dramatic. They will be back when they realize they have no choice. Hive singer Buscala's mandibles clicked with amusement. Humans always make such a show of their emotions. It is almost entertaining. Stoneheart rumbled with what might have been laughter. Let them go. When their colonies start running out of supplies, they will remember this offer and wish they had accepted it. The door closed behind the humans with a soft sound. The aliens continued their meeting, discussing how to divide up the trade routes among themselves. They had already forgotten about the humans. They had no idea that they had just made the biggest mistake in galactic history. Outside in the corridor, Lieutenant Park Bo-young walked beside her ambassador. She could feel the anger radiating from him like heat from a fire. Sir, what are our orders? Kim Daeho's voice was quiet but firm. Contact Earth. Tell them to initiate Protocol 7. Tell them the talking is over. Park Bo-young nodded. She knew what Protocol 7 meant. Was the plan they had hoped they would never need to use. It was the plan for when diplomacy failed and humanity had to stand alone as they walked toward their ship. Neither of them looked back at the crystal chambers where the aliens were still talking. They had more important things to do. The galaxy was about to learn something new about humans. They were about to learn that there was a big difference between choosing to be peaceful and being unable to fight back. The storm was coming. The aliens had no idea what they had just unleashed. The Blue House in Seoul was quiet at 3 in the morning. President Lee Min-ho sat in his office, reading Ambassador Kim Daeho's report on his tablet. Words made his blood boil, but his face stayed calm. He'd been a politician for 20 years, and before that, a general. He knew how to control his emotions. The report was clear. The aliens saw humans as children. They wanted to keep humans weak and dependent. They had no respect for human achievements or human dignity. President. Lee walked to his window and looked out at Seoul. The city was beautiful at night. Lights from human buildings mixed with the soft glow of alien technology. For 50 years, humans and aliens had lived together in peace. Humans had thought it was friendship. Now they knew it was just tolerance. His secretary knocked on the door. "Mr. President, your advisors are here. Send them in." The door opened and 5 people entered. These were the most important people in the human government. Each one had been chosen for this moment. General Choi Hu-yanwoo was the defense minister. She was 45 years old, and her family had been soldiers for 5 generations. Her great-grandfather had fought in the Korean War. Her grandfather had been a peacekeeper. Her father had been a space marine. Now she commanded all human military. For CES, Dr. Yoon Jae-min was the economic advisor. He was a small man with thick glasses, but his mind was sharp like a knife. He understood money and trade better than anyone on Earth. He had been planning for this day for 10 years. Director Han So-young ran the intelligence service. She was quiet and careful. She knew secrets that could change the galaxy. She had been watching the aliens for decades, learning their weaknesses. Admiral Kim Soo-jin commanded the Solar Defense Fleet. She was tall and strong, with gray hair and sharp eyes. She had been in space for 30 years. She knew every ship, every station, every hiding place in human space. Dr. Park Sung-ho was the head of advanced research. He was young, only 35, but he was brilliant. He had been working on secret projects that the aliens knew nothing about. President Lee looked at each of them. "You have all read the report. Aliens have made their position clear. They want us to be their servants, not their partners. What are your recommendations?" General Choi spoke first. "Mr. President, we always knew this day might come. We have been preparing for 15 years. Our military is ready." She activated a holographic display that showed human military strength. "The aliens think our ships are weak and slow. They think our weapons are primitive. They're wrong. We have been hiding our true capabilities for decades." The display showed sleek warships that looked nothing like the old, clunky vessels the aliens had seen. "These are our real ships, fast, powerful, and invisible to most alien sensors. We have been building them in secret shipyards." Dr. Yoon adjusted his glasses and spoke next. "Economically, we are in a strong position. The aliens think we depend on them for trade. The truth is, we have been preparing for economic independence. We have our own supply chains, our own manufacturing, our own resources." He showed charts and graphs that proved his point. "We can survive without alien trade. In fact, we can thrive. We have been very careful to build backup systems for everything." Director Han opened her briefcase and pulled out a thick folder. "Our intelligence shows that the aliens have been planning this for years. They want to divide human space among themselves. They see us as a threat to their power." She spread photos across the table. "These are alien military bases being built. Near human colonies, they are not for defense. They are for invasion. The aliens plan to take our worlds if we do not submit." Admiral Kim Soo-jin leaned forward. "Mr. President, the aliens have been watching our public fleet movements. They think they know where all our ships are. They are wrong. We have been moving our real fleet to secret positions for months." She showed a map of human space. "The aliens know about our 12 main colonies. They do not know about our 47 hidden colonies. They know about our mining operations in the asteroid belt. They do not know about our manufacturing complexes in the outer rim." Dr. Park Soon-jo was the last to speak. "Sir, the aliens think our technology is primitive. This is because we have been showing them our old technology. Our real technology is decades ahead of what they think we have." He activated another display. "It's faster than light communication, advanced terraforming, quantum computers, molecular manufacturing. We have been developing these technologies in secret for 20 years." President Lee listened to each report carefully. When they finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. "The aliens have made a mistake. They think that being peaceful means being weak. They think that asking nicely means we have no other choice. They are about to learn how wrong they are." He turned to General Choi. "Activate Protocol 7. Begin Phase 2 preparations. But do it quietly. I want the aliens to think we are just angry children having a tantrum." General Choi nodded. "Yes, sir. How long do we have?" "The aliens will expect us to come crawling back within a month. We will use that time to position our forces and prepare our response." He turned to Dr. Yoon. Begin the economic transition. Cut all non-essential trade with alien species. Redirect our resources to human colonies. Make us completely self-sufficient.
Doctor.
Yoon smiled. Already started, sir. We have been preparing for this for years. We can be completely independent within 2 weeks. President Lee looked at Director Han. I want to know everything about alien military movements. If they move a single ship toward human space, I want to know about it immediately. Director Han nodded. Our agents are already in position. We'll know what they are planning before they do. He turned to Admiral Kim Soo-jin. Move the fleet to defensive positions, but do it carefully. I want the aliens to think we are just protecting our known colonies. Admiral Kim nodded. The fleet is already moving, sir. Aliens are watching our decoy ships. They have no idea where our real ships are. Finally, he looked at Dr. Park Seung-ho. How long until our secret projects are ready? Dr. Park smiled. They have been ready for years, sir. We have just been waiting for permission to use them. President Lee stood up and walked back to the window. The aliens think they can bully us because we are young. They think 50 years in space makes us children. They forget that humans have been fighting for survival for thousands of years. He turned back to his advisors. We did not ask to be treated as enemies. We asked to be treated as friends. But if they want to treat us as enemies, we will show them what human enemies can do. General Choi stood up. What are our rules of engagement, sir? President Lee's voice was cold and hard. We defend ourselves. We protect our people. Shh. We do not attack unless attacked. But if they attack us, we respond with everything we have. Dr. Yoon asked, what about the civilians? There are millions of aliens living in human space. We protect them too. We are not like the aliens. We do not punish innocent people for the crimes of their leaders. Director Han closed her briefcase. Sir, the aliens will try to monitor our communications. They will try to figure out what we are planning. President Lee smiled for the first time that night. Let them try. They will see exactly what we want them to see. They will hear exactly what we want them to hear. They think they are so smart, but they do not understand humans at all. Admiral Kim Soo-jin asked, how long do we maintain the deception? Until they make their move. The aliens are proud and arrogant. They will not wait long to show their power. When they do, we will be ready. As the meeting ended, each advisor left with their secret orders. Across the galaxy, human agents received coded messages. Military units began moving to new positions. Scientists activated projects that had been hidden for decades. But to the aliens watching human communications, everything looked normal. They saw routine administrative traffic. They saw normal trade communications. They saw exactly what humans wanted them to see. The aliens had made the mistake of thinking that humans were simple and predictable. They were about to learn that the most dangerous enemy is the one who lets you think you are winning. In space stations hidden in asteroid fields, human engineers worked around the clock. In secret laboratories on distant moons, scientists prepared technologies that would change the galaxy. In shipyards that did not exist on any map, admirals planned strategies that would shock the universe. The aliens thought they had one. They thought humans would come begging for mercy within a month. They had no idea that they had just awakened. Something that had been sleeping for 50 years. Humanity was preparing for war, and the aliens would never see it coming. 3 weeks had passed since the humans walked out of the Interstellar Council. The alien representatives met again in the crystal chambers of Station Nexus. They were confident and happy. Their plan was working perfectly. Counselor Rieftel moved, her tentacles gracefully as she spoke. My economic advisors tell me that human trade has dropped by 60%. Their colonies are already running short on medical supplies and rare metals. Hivesinger Buscala's mandibles clicked with satisfaction. The Cathara have been monitoring human communications. They sound desperate. They're talking about rationing food and fuel. The ethereal whisperer glowed bright yellow with amusement. I told you they would not last long. Humans are too emotional. They make decisions with their hearts, not their minds. Stoneheart rumbled with what sounded like laughter. The Rockborn have been watching their mining operations. Production has dropped to almost nothing. They are clearly struggling. Rootwise, the Sylvani representative spoke in her wind-like voice. All young species go through this phase. They think they can survive alone. They learn they cannot. Then they come back, ready to accept guidance. Brightspark, the Lumina being, flashed white and gold. Our analysis shows that human colonies will begin failing within 2 months. Their technology cannot support their population without our help. Prime 7, the synthetic process data and spoken mechanical tones. Probability of human surrender, 87.3%. Estimated time until they request new negotiations, 23.7 days. Counselor Reef Tao was pleased with these reports. Excellent. When they return, we will offer them even less than before. They need to learn that defiance has consequences. But then, alarms began to sound throughout the station. Emergency lights flashed red. The council chamber's doors burst open as a veterinary security officer rushed in. Counselor Reeftel, we have a problem. A big problem. The security officer was breathing hard, her tentacles waving frantically. Our exploration fleet in the Kepler 442 system has found something impossible. Reeftel's voice was sharp with annoyance. What are you talking about? There is nothing in that system except dead worlds in empty space. The security officer activated a holographic display. The image showed a massive space station orbiting a planet that was supposed to be uninhabitable. The station was clearly human-built, but it was huge. Much bigger than anything the aliens thought humans could build. This station has been there. For years, the officer gasped. Maybe decades. It has defensive weapons, research laboratories, and manufacturing facilities. There are thousands of humans living there. Council members stared at the image in shock. This was impossible. Their surveys had shown that system was empty. Hive Singer Buscala's voice buzzed with confusion. How long has this been there? Why did we not know about it? Before anyone could answer, another alarm sounded. Kithara officer entered the chamber, her 4 arms carrying data tablets. Hive Singer. We have discovered human colonies in the Tau Ceti system. 3 fully operational? Worlds with millions of inhabitants. The Kithara officer's voice was high with panic. These are not small outposts. These are major colonies with cities, factories, and spaceports. They have been there for at least 20 years. Rootwise leaned forward, her leaves rustling with concern. That is impossible. The Tau Ceti system is supposed to be uninhabitable. The atmosphere is toxic to most life forms. Not anymore, the Kithara officer replied. The humans have somehow made the air breathable. They have turned dead worlds into garden worlds. We do not know how. More alarms sounded, more officers rushed in. Each one brought impossible news. The Rockborn had discovered human mining operations. In asteroid fields that were supposed to be empty, massive automated systems were extracting resources on a scale that rivaled their own operations. The synthetics had found human manufacturing complexes and systems their computers said were uninhabited. Advanced factories were producing goods using technologies they did not recognize. The ethereals had detected human energy signatures in regions of space they thought were void. Entire fleets of ships were moving through areas that should have been empty. The Lumina had discovered human research stations studying phenomena that the aliens had never seen before. Scientists were working on projects that seemed impossible. With each report, the council members became more confused and frightened. Everything they thought they knew about human capabilities was wrong. Prime 7 processed all the incoming data and spoke in a voice that sounded almost confused. Error, error. Data does not match previous assessments. Recalculating human capabilities. The synthetics lights flickered as it tried to process the impossible information. Current data suggests human civilization is 300% larger than previously. Estimated human technology is 500% more advanced than our models predicted. Counselor Reefdal's tentacles trembled with shock. How is this possible? Our intelligence services are the best in the galaxy. How did we miss all of this? That was when the communication system activated. Holographic image appeared in the center of the chamber. It was Dr. Park Sun-cho, the human scientist, speaking from what looked like a massive research facility. "Hello, counselors," Dr. Park said, with a polite smile. You seem surprised by our little projects. I hope you do not mind that we have been keeping busy while you were talking." His voice was friendly, but his eyes were hard. "You asked what great discoveries humans have made. What technologies we have developed? What wonders we have built? Well, now you know." Hive singer Buscala's voice was shaking. "How long have you been hiding this from us?" Dr. Park chuckled. "Hiding? We were not hiding anything. We were just not bragging about it. You never asked about our work in the outer systems. You never asked about our research projects. You only wanted to know about our main colonies." He gestured to the laboratory behind him. "This facility has been here for 30 years. We have been developing new technologies, new ways of living, new ways of building. Just did not think you would be interested." Stoneheart's voice rumbled with confusion. "But your surveys, your exploration reports, made it sound like you were struggling to expand. Those reports were about our public colonies," Dr. Park explained. "The ones you knew about. We've been very careful to show you only what we wanted you to see." The truth was becoming clear. While the aliens had been focused on the official human colonies, humanity had been quietly building an entire shadow. Civilization Captain Lee Soo-young appeared on another communication channel. She was standing on the bridge of what the aliens had thought was a simple cargo ship, but now they could see it was actually a sophisticated exploration vessel. "Counselors, this ship has been mapping the galaxy for 25 years. We have found over 200 star systems that your species never bothered to explore. Systems with habitable planets, valuable resources, and strategic locations." Her voice was calm but firm. "You kept your best systems for yourselves. You offered us the scraps. So we found our own systems. Better systems. Systems you did not even know existed." Admiral Kim Soo-jin joined the conversation from what looked like a military command center. "You want to know about our military capabilities? You think our ships are slow and weak? Let me show you something." The display changed to show a human warship. But this ship looked nothing like the old, clunky vessels the aliens had seen. It was sleek, fast, and covered with weapons they did not recognize. "This is the HMS Seoul," Admiral Kim said proudly. "One of our newer ships. We have been building ships like this for 15 years. We have over 300 of them." The aliens stared in shock. The ship on the screen was clearly more advanced than anything they had seen before. "You have been watching our old ships," Admiral Kim continued. "The ones we use for cargo and civilian transport. You never asked to see our military vessels. We thought it was polite not to show off." President Lee Min-ho's voice joined the conversation. "Counselors, you made the mistake of thinking that asking nicely meant we had no other choice. You thought that being diplomatic meant being weak." Image appeared on the main screen. He was sitting in what looked like a war room, surrounded by displays showing human colonies, fleets, and installations across the galaxy. "We have been building our own civilization while you were not paying attention. We have been developing our own technologies while you were dismissing us. We have been preparing for our own future while you were trying to control us." The president's voice was not angry. It was matter of fact, which somehow made it more frightening. "You offered us asteroid mining rights. But we already have mining operations in 50 systems. You offered us limited trade routes, but we already have our own shipping network. You offered us dependence, but we already have independence." Counselor. Riftel found her voice. "How many colonies do you really have?" "More than you," President Lee replied simply. "We are building more every day." The alien council members sat in stunned silence. Everything they thought they knew about the galaxy was wrong. Humans they had dismissed as primitive children had built a civilization that rivaled their own, and they had done it all while the aliens were not looking. The communication ended, leaving the council chamber in shocked silence. The aliens stared at each other, trying to understand what they had just learned. Prime 7 spoke first. Recalculation complete. Human civilization is not 300% larger than estimated. It is 1,000% larger. Human technology is not 500% more advanced. It is beyond our current measurement capabilities. The synthetic's voice carried something that sounded like fear. We have been operating with completely incorrect data for decades. Our entire understanding of human capabilities was wrong. The aliens were beginning to realize that they had not been dealing with desperate children begging for help. They had been dealing with a sleeping giant that had been polite enough to pretend to be weak, and now the giant was waking up. The emergency session of the Interstellar Council had been going on for 6 hours. Reports kept coming in, each one more shocking than the last. The aliens sat around the crystal table, their confidence completely gone. They looked like students who had just failed the most important test of their lives. Counselor. Riftal's tentacles moved nervously as she read the latest intelligence report. According to this, humans have 127 fully operational colonies across 85 different star systems. How is that possible? I thought they had only 12 colonies. Hivesinger Buzkala's voice was shaking. The Cathera surveillance network is the best in the galaxy. We watch everything. How did we miss 115 human colonies? Prime 7. The synthetic processed data faster than ever before. Analysis complete. Humans have been using a strategy called selective visibility. They showed us only what they wanted us to see. While we watched their 12 public colonies, they built 115 hidden ones. Stoneheart rumbled with what might have been fear.
Ow!
The Rockborn pride ourselves on knowing where all the valuable resources are. But these reports show that humans are mining asteroids and planets we have never even heard of. Admiral Kim Soo-jin appeared on the communications screen again. She was standing in what looked like a military command center, but it was bigger than anything the aliens had ever seen. Hundreds of human officers worked at control stations, managing operations across the galaxy. Counselors, you seem confused by our expansion, Admiral Kim said politely. Let me help you understand how we did it. She activated a holographic display that showed the galaxy from a new perspective. Instead of the familiar map, the aliens. New? This one was covered with human installations, while you were focused on the pretty planets with perfect atmospheres. You were looking at the planets you thought were worthless. Dead worlds, gas giants, asteroid belts, ice moons, places you never bothered to explore. The display zoomed in on a system the aliens had marked as uninhabitable. It showed massive human cities built inside protective domes, thriving industrial complexes, and millions of people living and working. This is the Kepler 438 system, Admiral Kim continued. You classified it as uninhabitable because the atmosphere is poisonous and the temperature is too cold. We classified it as perfect for terraforming, she smiled. It took us 15 years to make it livable. Now, it has a population of 8 million people and produces more food than 3 of your agricultural worlds. Captain Lee Soo-young joined the conversation from her exploration ship. Counselors, you made a basic mistake. You looked for worlds that were already perfect. We looked for worlds that could become perfect. Her ship's displays showed dozens of worlds in various stages of terraforming. Some were just beginning the process with massive machines changing their atmospheres. Others were nearly complete, with green continents and blue oceans where there had once been lifeless rock. Terraforming is not fast, Captain Lee explained. It takes decades. But while you were having meetings and making trade agreements, we were changing worlds. We started this work 50 years ago. Now we are harvesting the results.
Park Sung-ho
Appeared from his research station, which the aliens now realized was the size of a small city. You want to know about our technology? Let me show you what we have been working on. The display showed technologies that made the aliens' eyes widen with shock. Atmosphere processors that could change a planet's air in 20 years. Gravity. Generators that could make any world comfortable for human life. Fusion reactors smaller than a building, but more powerful than anything the aliens used. We developed these technologies because we had to, Dr. Park said simply. You would not share your knowledge with us. You would not trade us the equipment we needed, so we built our own, better equipment. As the aliens stared at technologies they had thought were impossible. Some of these inventions were centuries ahead of what they could build. Root-wise, the Sylvani. Representatives spoke in a voice like rustling leaves. How many people live in these hidden colonies? President Lee Min-ho answered from his command center. As of today, 127 million humans live in our hidden colonies. That is 3 times more than live in our public colonies that you knew about. Number hit the aliens like a physical blow. It thought humanity was a small species with maybe 50 million people total. Now they learned that humans had over 170 million people spread across the galaxy. But that is not the most important number, President Lee continued. The most important number is 2,847. Whispera, the ethereal, changed to a confused gray color. What does that number mean? That is how many ships are in our real fleet? Admiral Kim Soo-jin answered. Not the old cargo ships and civilian transports you have been watching? Our actual military and exploration fleet? The aliens had thought humans had maybe 200 ships total. Learning they had nearly 3,000 ships was terrifying. You have been watching our public shipping, Captain Lee Soo-young explained. Old ships carrying trade goods between our known colonies? Meanwhile, our real fleet has been exploring, mapping, and building across the galaxy. She activated a display that showed human ships in hundreds of systems. Fast military vessels, huge construction ships, advanced research vessels, and massive cargo haulers that dwarfed anything the aliens had seen. We have been very busy while you were not looking, she said with a slight smile. Dr. Yoon Jaemin, the economic advisor, joined the conversation with charts and graphs that made the aliens even more nervous. You wanted to force us into economic dependence. But we have been economically independent for 5 years. His data showed human manufacturing capacity, resource production, and trade networks. The numbers were staggering. We produce our own food, build our own ships, make our own computers, and manufacture our own everything. We have not needed alien goods for years. We kept trading with you because we thought it was friendly. He paused to let that sink in. Every trade agreement we asked for was us trying to help your economies. We were offering to buy things we did not actually need. Stoneheart's voice was barely a whisper. You mean when you asked for mining rights? You already had better mines? Much better mines, Dr. Yoon confirmed. Our asteroid mining operations produce more rare metals in 1 month than your best planet produces in a year. We asked for mining rights because we thought it would give you jobs and income. The truth was becoming clear. The aliens had not been dealing with desperate beggars. They'd been dealing with a wealthy neighbor who was trying to share prosperity. Brightspark, the Lumina being, flashed confused colors. Why did you hide all of this from us? Director Han So-young appeared on screen for the first time. She was the intelligence director, and her presence made the aliens nervous. We did not hide it. We just did not brag about it. We never asked about our outer colonies. Never asked about our deep space operations. We only wanted to know about our core worlds. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp. We thought you would be happy that we were successful. Thought you would be proud that we were growing and learning. We did not realize you wanted us to stay weak. President Lee Min-ho spoke again, his voice carrying a new weight. Counselors, let me be very clear about our current situation. We do not need your trade routes. We have our own. We do not need your resources. We have our own. We do not need your protection. We can protect ourselves. He leaned forward. What we wanted was friendship. What we asked for was respect. What we offered was partnership. What you gave us was contempt. The communication displays showed the true scope of human civilization. Colonies on hundreds of worlds, fleets of thousands of ships, industries that produced more than entire alien species. Technologies that surpassed anything the Council had. Seen Admiral Kim Soo-jin delivered the final blow. You offered us asteroid mining rights to dead rocks. But we already own and operate 347 asteroid mining facilities across 67 systems. You offered us limited trade routes through space you control. But we already have our own shipping network that covers 60% of the galaxy. She paused. You offered us the chance to be your servants, but we are already your equals. We have been your equals for years. We just did not want to embarrass you by saying so. The aliens sat in stunned silence. Everything they thought they knew about the galaxy was wrong. The humans they had tried to keep weak were already strong. The species they had tried to control was already free. Prime 7 spoke in a mechanical voice that somehow sounded afraid, recalculating galactic power balance. Human civilization parameter error, magnitude 2000%. Human technology parameter error. Magnitude unknown. Human military parameter error. Calculating. Calculating. Calculation failed. Exceeds prediction models. Counselor Riefdahl found her voice. What do you want from us now? President Lee Minho's answer was simple. The same thing we have always wanted. To be treated as equals. But now we are not asking. We are informing you that we are equals, whether you acknowledge it or not. The council chamber fell silent, except for the hum of machinery and the sound of alien hearts beating faster than they ever had before. The humans had shown them the truth. The galaxy was not what the aliens thought it was. Humanity was not who they thought they were. The balance of power had not shifted. It had been wrong all along. The alien council members had been sitting in shocked silence for 10 minutes. The crystal chambers of Station Nexus felt cold and empty. Everything they had believed about the galaxy was wrong. Everything they had planned was useless. Hivesinger. Buscala was the first to speak. Her voice was small and frightened. Your military capabilities. Our analysis said you were decades behind us. How is that possible if you have been building ships for years? Admiral Kim Soo-jin's image smiled. On the communications screen, your analysis was based on what we showed you. Tell me, Counselor, what did you think happened to all the human officers who retired from active service? She gestured to the massive command center behind her. Hundreds of human officers worked at control stations, their uniforms crisp and their movements precise. These were not new recruits. These were experienced veterans. Captain Park Jin-woo, please join us, Admiral Kim called. A new face appeared on the screen. Captain Park was young, maybe 30 years old, but his eyes held the confidence of someone who had seen real combat.
Out, counselors.
I am the captain of the HMS Incheon. You might remember reading about me in our public records. Retired from the Solar Defense Fleet 5 years ago. His smile was sharp. I did not retire. I was transferred to our real fleet. Along with 50,000 other officers who officially do not exist anymore, the aliens stared in growing fear. They had been watching a fake military while the real one grew in secret. Would you like to see my ship? Captain Park asked politely. Display changed to show a vessel unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. It was sleek and deadly, covered with weapons they did not recognize. Energy readings showed power levels that should have been impossible. 8. This is the HMS Incheon, Captain, Park said proudly. One of our Falcon-class destroyers. We built her 3 years ago. She is fast, heavily armed, and completely invisible to most scanning systems. Stoneheart's voice rumbled with disbelief. That ship shows energy readings higher than our newest battleships. How is that possible? Dr. Park Soon-jo answered from his research station. While you were building bigger versions of old technology, we were inventing completely new technology. Fusion reactors the size of cars. Energy shields that can stop anything. Weapons that can punch through any armor. The display showed technical details that made the aliens' best scientists look like children playing with toys. Human technology was not just advanced, it was revolutionary. But this is just one ship, Captain Park continued. Would you like to see the rest of the fleet? Before the aliens could answer, the display changed to show space around Station Nexus. At first it looked empty. Then one by one, human ships began appearing. They had been there all along, invisible to alien sensors. Dozens of warships surrounded the station. Their weapons trained on the crystal chambers where the council sat. The aliens jumped from their seats in panic. Some reached for emergency communicators. Others tried to activate defense systems, but nothing worked. Please do not be alarmed, Admiral Kim Soo-jin said calmly. Our ships are not here to attack. They are here to protect.
Ow.
Station Nexus has very poor security. We thought you might need some help. Counselor Riefdahl's tentacles were shaking. You surrounded our station without us knowing. We have been here for 2 weeks, Captain Park replied. Our ships have been watching over the station while you held your meetings. We wanted to make sure nothing happened to you while you were busy dismissing us. The message was clear. Human ships could go anywhere, unseen and undetected. If they had wanted to attack, The aliens would never have seen them coming. Prime 7. The synthetic processed this information with growing alarm. How many ships are currently in Council space? Admiral Kim smiled. Enough. Dr. Yoon Jamin, the economic advisor, appeared on screen with new data that made the aliens even more nervous. Counselors, you wanted to force us into economic dependence? Let me show you what economic independence actually looks like. His charts showed production numbers that were staggering. Human factories were producing more goods than 3 council species combined. Human farms were growing more food than 5 agricultural worlds. Human mines were extracting more resources than the aliens thought existed in their territory. We have been very quiet about our success, Dr. Yoon explained. We did not want to make you feel bad about your own economies. But since you have forced this conversation, let me be clear. He showed trade route maps that covered the galaxy. We do not need your shipping lanes. We have our own. We do not need your markets. We have our own. We do not need your resources. We have our own. The final chart was the most shocking. It showed that humans had been quietly buying goods from alien species, not because they needed them, but because they wanted to support alien economies. For 5 years, we have been your biggest customer, Dr. Yoon continued. Not because we needed what you were selling, but because we thought it would help your people. We have been giving you charity while you thought you were giving us charity. Rootwise, the Sylvani representative spoke in a voice like breaking branches. You mean, when you bought our rare crystals? We were trying to keep your mining industry profitable, Dr. Yoon confirmed. We can manufacture those crystals in our laboratories, but we thought it was kinder to buy them from you. The truth was devastating. The aliens had not been the generous masters helping struggling humans. They had been the struggling clients being helped by generous humans. Bright spark. The Lumina being flashed confused colors. Why? Why help us if you did not need us? President Lee Minho answered, because we thought we were friends. We believed in cooperation, because we hoped that success could be shared. His voice carried a sadness that made the aliens feel ashamed. We wanted to build a galaxy where everyone prospered together. We wanted to be partners, not competitors. Director Han So-young appeared on screen for the second time, and her presence made the atmosphere even more tense. Fortunately, our intelligence shows that cooperation was never your goal. Movements near human space. For the past 6 months, you have been moving warships toward our colonies. Not for defense, for invasion. The evidence was clear and damning. Alien fleets positioned for attack. Supply lines prepared for occupation. Battle plans for conquering human worlds. You were planning to take our colonies by force if we did not. Submit to your demands, Director Han continued. You thought we would be easy targets? Admiral Kim Soo-jin's voice turned cold. You made a mistake. You planned an invasion based on false information. You thought you were attacking a weak enemy. You were actually planning to attack someone stronger than you. The display showed human defensive positions that the aliens had never detected. Hidden bases, secret fleets, and weapons platforms that could destroy entire invasion forces. Every move you made we saw, Admiral Kim explained. Every ship you positioned, we tracked. Every plan you made, we countered. You thought you were being clever. We thought you were being obvious. Captain Park Jin-woo spoke from his destroyer. Your invasion fleets are currently surrounded by our ships. Your supply lines are cut. Your command structures are compromised. If you had actually tried to attack us, your forces would have been destroyed before they fired a single shot. The aliens sat in their chairs, realizing how close they had come to complete disaster. Planned to attack a neighbor who could have erased them from existence. But we did not destroy your fleets, Admiral Kim continued. We protected them. Because we still hoped you would choose peace over war. President Lee Min-ho appeared one final time. Counselors, you have seen our colonies, our fleets, our technology, and our capabilities. You now know that we do not need your permission to exist. We do not need your approval to expand. We do not need your protection to survive. He leaned forward, his eyes hard, but his voice still respectful. We are not your subjects. We are not your children. We are not your inferiors. We are your equals, and we have been your equals for years. The president paused to let his words sink in. The question now is simple. Do you want us as partners, or do you want us as strangers? The alien council members looked at each other with fear, shame, and growing understanding. They had spent months trying to put humans in their place, never. Realizing that humans were already in their place, the balance of power had not changed. It had been revealed, and now the aliens had to decide what to do with that knowledge. The crystal chambers of Station Nexus were completely silent. The alien council members sat frozen in their chairs, staring at the communication screens where human leaders waited for their answer. The weight of their mistake pressed down on them like a mountain. For 10 minutes, nobody spoke. The aliens who had been so confident and dismissive just hours ago now looked like children who had been caught doing something terrible. Finally, Counselor Reefdell found her voice. It was small and shaky, nothing like the arrogant tone she had used before. Ambassador Kim... President Lee, we need to talk. Ambassador Kim Dae-ho appeared on the main screen. He was back in the crystal chambers, but this time he was not alone. Representatives from human colonies across the galaxy stood behind him. Their faces showed the quiet confidence of people who had built something extraordinary. We are listening, Counselor Ambassador, Kim said politely. Reefdell's tentacles moved nervously. We made some mistakes. Did not understand the true situation, we thought. You thought we were weak, President Lee Min-ho interrupted gently. You thought we needed you more than you needed us. You thought you could force us to accept whatever scraps you offered. The alien counselors looked ashamed. Everything the president said was true. Hive singer Buscala spoke up, her voice buzzing with regret. We were wrong. We see that now. What happens next? What do you want from us? Director Han So-young stepped forward. What we have always wanted, respect, equality, fair treatment, is the chance to work together instead of being ordered around. She activated a holographic display that showed the galaxy. But this was not the old map the aliens knew. This was the real map, showing the true extent of human expansion. For 50 years, we have been building our civilization quietly, Director Han explained. We did not ask for your permission because we did not think we needed it. We thought the galaxy was big enough for everyone. Dr. Park Sung-ho appeared from his research station. We have technologies that could help all our species. Medical advances that could save millions of lives. Terraforming techniques that could create new worlds. Energy systems that could power entire civilizations. He paused. We wanted to share these discoveries. We tried to share them, but you were not interested in what humans could offer. You only cared about what humans could provide. Stoneheart, the Rockborn representative, rumbled with shame. We treated you like servants? It's like a species that existed only to serve us? Yes, Admiral Kim Soo-jin said simply. You did, and that was your mistake. She gestured to the command center behind her. We built all of this while you were not looking. We became strong while you thought we were weak. We became independent while you tried to make us dependent. Captain Lee Soo-young spoke from her exploration ship. We mapped 60% of the galaxy while you were arguing about who controlled which trade routes. We found hundreds of new worlds while you were fighting over the old ones. Her voice was not angry, just mattered of fact. You were so busy trying to stay in control that you forgot to keep exploring. You forgot to keep growing. You forgot to keep learning. Wispara, the ethereal, changed to a dull gray color showing her shame. What do you want us to do now? How do we fix this? President Lee Min-ho leaned forward. You cannot fix the past, Counselor, but you can choose the future. He activated a new display that showed a very different kind of galaxy, one where humans and aliens work together as true partners. We still believe in cooperation, the president said. Still think the galaxy is better when species work together instead of fighting each other. But cooperation must be between equals. Ambassador Kim Dae-ho stepped forward. Here are our terms, not requests, not proposals. Terms. The word hung in the air like thunder. The aliens understood that this was not a negotiation. This was humans, telling them how things would be. First, equal representation in all council decisions. Human colonies will have the same rights as alien colonies.
Human opinions will carry the same
weight as alien opinions. Counselor Reftel nodded quickly. Yes, of course, that is only fair. Second, fair access to all established trade routes. No species will be blocked from any shipping lane without just cause. Trade will be based on mutual benefit, not political control. Prime 7, the synthetic process this quickly. Agreed. Free trade benefits all species. Third, recognition of human territorial claims.
Our
127 colonies across 85 systems will be officially acknowledged. Our expansion into new systems will not require council approval. Rootwise, the Sylvani representative spoke in her wind-like voice. The galaxy is vast. There is room for everyone to grow. Fourth, mutual defense agreements. If any council species is attacked by outside forces, all other species will provide assistance. This includes humanity, and humanity will be included. Bright spark. The Lumina being flashed agreement. Unity makes us all stronger. Fifth, technology sharing partnerships. All species will share their discoveries for the benefit of everyone. This will be voluntary, but encouraged. Dr. Yoon Jamin appeared with economic projections. Shared technology means shared prosperity. When everyone benefits, everyone prospers. Ambassador Kim looked around the chamber. These terms are not negotiable. We have proven we do not need your agreement to exist and expand. But we prefer cooperation to isolation. He paused. You can accept these terms and work with us as partners. Or you can reject them and watch us continue growing without you. The message was clear. Humanity would continue to expand and prosper whether the aliens liked it or not. The only question was whether the aliens wanted to be part of that growth. Hivesinger. Buskala asked the question they were all thinking.
Ow.
And if we refuse, what happens then? Captain Park Jinwoo answered from his destroyer. Then we go our separate ways. We will continue exploring the 40% of the galaxy we have not mapped yet. We will continue building colonies on worlds you have never seen. We will continue trading with species who want to trade with us. His voice was calm but firm. We will not attack you. We will not interfere with your territory. We will not limit ourselves to make you comfortable. Admiral Kim Soo-jin added quietly. You will become spectators to human expansion instead of partners in galactic growth. The threat was subtle but real. The aliens could either be part of humanity's future or they could be left behind by it. Stoneheart was the first to speak. I vote to accept the terms. The Rockborn have been miners for thousands of years, but we never learned to terraform worlds. Working with humans could teach us new ways to find homes among the stars. Rootwise rustled her leaves in agreement. The Sylvani have always believed in growth. These terms allow everyone to grow together. One by one, the other species voiced their agreement. The Cathera, the Ethereals, the Lumina, and the Synthetics all voted to accept the human terms. Finally, only Counselor Reftel remained. The Velinari, leader who had been so dismissive just hours ago, now faced a choice that would determine her species' future. The Velinari, accept, she said quietly. The vote was unanimous. President Lee Min-ho smiled for the first time in the entire conversation. Then let us begin again. As partners this time. Ambassador Kim Dae-ho stepped forward.
Counselor, humanity looks forward to working with you.
We have much to learn from each other and much to accomplish together. Dr. Park Sung-ho activated. Displays showing joint research projects that could begin immediately. Imagine what we could discover if we combined human terraforming with Sylvani botanical knowledge, or human energy systems with Lumina light manipulation. Captain Lee Soo-young showed maps of unexplored space. There are entire sectors of the galaxy that none of us have seen. We could explore them together, sharing the discoveries and the new worlds we find. Over the next few hours, the tone in the chamber changed completely. The aliens who had been trying to control humanity were now eager to learn from them. The humans who had been dismissed as primitive were now recognized as equals. Plans were made for joint expeditions to explore new star systems. Research partnerships were established to share technologies. Trade agreements were signed that benefited everyone. 6 months later, the first joint human-alien expedition launched toward the Andromeda Galaxy. The ships were crewed by humans and aliens working side by side, using technologies that none of them could have developed alone. Ambassador Kim Dae-ho, serving as Director of Interspecies Relations, stood on the bridge of the lead ship beside him stood Counselor Riftel, who had become one of humanity's strongest supporters. "It is amazing what we can accomplish when we work together," Riftel said, watching the stars stream past. Kim Dae-ho nodded. "We always believed that. We just had to help you believe it too." As the expedition ships jumped to faster-than-light speed, they carried representatives of 8 different species toward the unknown. They were no longer separate civilizations competing for resources. They were partners in the greatest adventure of all, exploring the infinite possibilities of the universe. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Strength was not about controlling others. It was about choosing when to use your power and when to share it. Humanity had shown that the greatest force in the universe was not weapons or technology or economic might. It was the refusal to accept limitations imposed by others. Combined with the wisdom to offer partnership instead of domination, the stars were vast, and there was room for everyone to find their place among them, together.